Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, November 4, 2022. Investments continue to make the Port of Kingston the most competitive in the region. The latest is the Kingston Freeport Terminal Limited, KFTL's acquisition of 19 new straddle carriers. The 41-foot freight vehicles bring the number of straddle carriers in the KFTL's fleet to 29. They are set to boost the efficiency of operations at the port by improving the loading and unloading of containers. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says discussions are underway to further increase investments in Jamaica's logistics industry through public-private partnership.
So the government, through the PAJ, is looking at other lands in this area that could become available to support the expansion of the port and the expansion of the logistics operations which are associated.
The Chapelton Community Hospital, which has been closed for years, is to be reopened on December 8 after undergoing upgrading and expansion. Information Minister Robert Morgan says the facility will be formally opened by Prime Minister Andrew Holness and Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton. Mr. Morgan, who is the Member of Parliament for Clarendon North Central, in which the hospital is located, made the announcement during his contribution to the 2022-2023 constituency debate in the House of Representatives on Wednesday. He thanked the Ministry of Health and the Culture, Health, Arts, Sport and Education Chase Fund for matching a $100 million donation made by a former resident to fund the project.
I want to thank Miss Beverly Nichols, grew up in Blackwoods. She went overseas and she made something of herself. But she did not turn her back on her community. She donated over $100 million for the rehabilitation of the Chapelton Community Hospital. So now we know that the people of North Central will finally get their hospital.
The upgraded hospital will benefit residents living in Chapelton, Rock River, Mullet Hall, Summerfield, Crawl River, Pennants, Frankfield and Crooked River. Added to that, Minister Morgan says the Moko Health Center will also be upgraded by the Ministry of Health. Meanwhile, the National Water Commission NWC is to build a small dam to provide water for the Rock River community in north central Clarendon. Member of Parliament for the area, Robert Morgan, says it's in keeping with a commitment made by Prime Minister Andrew Holness in 2018.
Since then, miles of pipes have been laid. A 50,000-gallon tank has been installed. But the challenge, however, Madam Speaker, was that they couldn't find any water in the aquifers to sustain the wells. They dug 4 wells, and there was no water. I'm happy to report that the NWC has decided that because we don't have groundwater, but we have surface water. So they will be creating a small dam in the Rock River to provide the solution.
Minister Morgan also announced good news for the 80% of Moko residents who remain without piped water.
The first major water project to be done in Moko for almost 40 years was done in 2020, where Lennon and Moko was finally able to get water. And I'm happy to report that the NWC has done the studies and have drafted a water plan to finally bring water to the people of Moko.
The Ministry of Transport and Mining is to embark on a robust public education campaign to support the implementation of the new Road Traffic Act and regulations. Portfolio Minister Audley Shaw says the campaign is to ensure members of the public understand the tougher penalties that will be coming for road traffic breaches.
The robust public education campaign will provide valuable road and vehicular safety information pertaining to the Act and the regulations by leveraging the following modes of communication: social media, print and electronic media, town hall meetings, and community outreach.
Minister Shaw was addressing a JIS think tank on Tuesday. He is encouraging motorists with outstanding tickets to make payments before the rollout of the new traffic regulations, where warrants will be issued.
those that have excessive numbers of tickets, you can't just leave it alone. You have to come forward and we sit and we discuss it with the traffic authority, and we come up with a payment plan. If it can't all be paid one time, there must be a payment plan.
Regulations to enable the application of the new Road Traffic Act were tabled in Parliament earlier this year. The Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn, is calling for an adjustment to the application form for Justices of the Peace, or JPs. The change is in reference to the question, have you ever been found guilty of a criminal offense, which requires an explanation if the response is yes. Applicants who are dishonest in the declaration would be disqualified from being trained or have their commission revoked if they are already in office.
So in case it may appear to lack clarity, what I would recommend is that in the same way that you have in bold that sentence on the application for a passport, the time has come that you put that caveat on the application that if it is that it is discovered that there is any falsehood or misrepresentation in any of the responses on that application form, then you will be disqualified.
The DPP asserts that an honest declaration is critical to preserving the integrity of the office of the Justice of the Peace. She was speaking at a recent swearing-in ceremony for 150 JPs for St. Andrew. She implored them to assess their intention for coming to the office, insisting that if the public's interest was at the bottom of the list, they should not accept the oath of office. And finally, Minister of Education and Youth, Favour Williams, is calling on students to speak up about issues that are affecting them, especially in the learning environment. She made the appeal during this week's official launch of National Youth Month at the Hart College of Construction Services in St. Catherine. November is being celebrated as Youth Month under the theme Reignited, Empowering Youth for Jamaica 60 and Beyond. Mrs. Williams says the ministry will keep working to prioritize the mental and physical health of every student in order to help them cope with the pressures of society and self-imposed expectations.
We remain committed as a ministry to creating an enabling environment for youth empowerment, personal development, and contribution to the shaping of policies in collaboration with the relevant stakeholders.
This year's Youth Month activities include a Youth in Business and Entrepreneurship Expo and a church service planned for this weekend, as well as the Pon the End series, the 13th sitting of the National Youth Parliament, and the Prime Minister's Youth Awards for Excellence. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.